Afternoon, everyone. Wanted to make a quick follow-up video on the one I did with that price differences at Walmart. But before I get into that, I want to say real quick, because I know a lot of people click on this channel and they don't stick around long. But I want everybody to see this video. I'm gonna put a link in the description of a video of a guy who just did a phenomenal job covering some of the stuff that's going on at Walmart. He went into the meat section and he grabbed probably 6 or 7 hams. Maybe there was some other cut of meat. I know there wasn't any steak or ground beef, but definitely several hams. And they were different weights. And he took them over to the produce section where they have a scale there. And you will not believe how bad the measurement of the weight measurement was off. It was just ridiculous. Which, you know, equate when you're talking several dollars a pound, it adds up to quite a bit. So go down to the description below, find that link, and watch that video. And I think we'll all be, from now on, taking our meat over to the produce section, putting it on that scale, and checking it before we check out. So anyway, yeah, so as far as my situation, I'm going to say somewhat inconclusive. I struggle with the jeans. As I told you in that first video, I saw them as $23. Didn't check it. It didn't. I didn't catch it at the checkout. You know, I caught it later when I was going over the receipt, and it said $26. And I'm like, I know the price tag on the shelf said $23. Well, you know, I went back. It was about 2 weeks later, and I noticed when I went to the shelf, so you got, you know, a stand of jeans here, then the space to walk through, and then here's another stand over here. All right, so the jeans that were over here, now they say they're Levi's, but I don't know, they aren't like what I consider traditional Levi's. The material is thin. It also even seems like it's a little bit stretchy. And then on the other side, I don't know if they were Wranglers or whatever make of jeans they were. But so my first thought was, when I saw, you know, the two prices, which I thought they were 23, but so there was the off-brand jeans were $23, the Levi jeans were $26. Well, I had gotten the Levi jeans, but I swear, well, I'll just say my first thought was, okay, well, maybe somebody had picked up a pair of jeans from the $26 shelf. Like I say, there's just the distance between walking through the two. Maybe went over, looked at those, and decided, oh, okay, I'll take these instead. And he set the Levi's down, the $26 jeans, there in the pile of $23 jeans. So that seems like a reasonable assumption. But here's the thing that just really threw me, because thinking back, and again, it was well, just about 2 weeks had gone by. I could swear I remember, you know, going through this, like a stack like this, and looking specifically for my size. It seems like I had to, you know, pull out the ones that were my waist and length size out of there. So if that's what happened, then it wasn't as simple as somebody dropping them, just putting the wrong jeans over on the wrong shelf and me just grabbing them up. So I'm still leaning towards the 26 or the that those Levi jeans were listed as $23, and by the time I got back there the next well, almost 2 weeks, it was they had corrected the price. Maybe it was as simple as they hadn't, maybe they changed the price in the system. And I was talking to my sister who used to work at Walmart, and she said sometimes they're so understaffed that you know, they can change the price in the computer system, but it, you know, it takes however long for the staff to get out there and change the prices on the shelf. So I guess that's another thing that could have happened. But so that's really all I'm going to say. Well, the meat, obviously, I even driving over there, I'm like, well, it's been almost 2 weeks and meat changes so fast. I'm sure it's not going to be what it was, saying what it was when I went 2 weeks earlier. So yeah, that looked more in line. The whatever, you know, brand of beef that Walmart gets, just a no-name brand, versus the Black Angus. The Black Angus, I think, was for the 4 patties was around $11, I think, and you know, the brand name stuff was like $7.97, something like that. So you know, that seemed more in line. I mean, you would expect the Black Angus to be more expensive. So so yeah, that seemed right. So kind of, you know, kind of inconclusive. You know, I can't, there's a couple of possibilities on what happened with the blue jeans. So, you know, live and learn. But I strongly suggest you guys go find that link in the description and watch that video, and it'll just blow your mind. But it'll, you know, if anything, it should definitely have you weigh in all your stuff at going over to the produce section and weighing your meat on the scale and seeing what that weight shows versus what's printed out on that label, because it was just way off. The guy eventually got to speak to a manager, and on the one hand, he really seemed like he was somewhat shrugging it off. He did say, you know, he'd have to get with at one point, you know, when he wasn't just staying silent, not saying anything, when the guys who caught him was, you know, making his case. He said he would, well, we'll just say take it up the chain in short. So he better, because I mean, I'm sure this guy's going to keep coming back into that Walmart, and he'll be coming back into other Walmarts and doing the same thing. And you know, if it just keeps happening and happening, well, I would think that either Walmart's going to get held responsible for this one way or the other in the court systems, or you know, the guy who actually caught him was also somewhat calling out I forget what company sells them those hams. But you know, if they're the ones who package it and put a sticker on it with the weight and price on it, then I guess they would be liable too for the deception. Because we aren't talking just a few ounces here. We're talking, there was one ham, I don't quote me on this. I mean, you watch the video, you'll see it, but it was somewhere almost half of what, in other words, like the ham might have been 4 pounds, and maybe it was just over 2 pounds real weight, you know, there by their, and he brought in a 2-pound weight and tested the scale that he was there in the produce section, and that was within a 0.02 you know, measurement of weight difference. So very close, certainly not off by pounds like some of the stuff that this guy weighed in versus what it said on the sticker. So I just want to make all of you aware of that because, I mean, God knows if it's not the government, it's, now like corporations just digging into our pockets more and more and more. And, I mean, people just, it's stressing them out and they're living paycheck to paycheck and there's no sense in this. It's just, it's all just ridiculous. And, I am happy to see, I brought this subject up before on property taxes, and I was just watching some stuff today. I mean, people are outraged, and I'm glad to hear it. If any of you watch Pinball Preparedness, he did a good video today, and I love the comments down below. That's where I kind of was happy to see the just the opinion of a lot of people just saying they need to abolish property tax altogether. Look, you can make up that revenue in a lot of different ways, and Pinball actually, he talked about, I think it was about 5 states that are looking at either getting rid of the property tax, and just finding other ways to generate that revenue. But it shouldn't be tied to a person's primary residency. I'm fine if you're well-to-do and you've got 3 homes, one in upstate, or Maine or New York or something like that. You like to spend your summers up there, but in the wintertime you want to head down to Florida, get out of that cold. Then you're gonna pay a little bit. You can pay a little bit more on that second and third home, but your primary home should be off limits. Because I think of yourself at 80 years old, you and your wife, and you get cancer, have a heart attack, you got some huge medical bill, $300,000, and you can't afford the property tax. It just keep going up and up and up, unlike our pay. So something's got to give. But I think it was Florida, Georgia, Indiana, North Dakota, maybe one other state. But I think DeSantis down in Florida, his plan was like a consumption tax, maybe also just taking your primary residency off the table, and all that. So I know they can work it out. They just have to have the will to do it. And I sure hope that other states will follow if it does pass in the 5 states that are discussing it right now. Because like I've said in other videos here on my property, I bought this in June of 2022, and the property taxes were only $428 a year. So I didn't say anything about that. I'm like, didn't bother me in the least. Now, here in 2026, they doubled it. It went from $428 to $1,006 a year. And I know some people are probably, if you're from the Northeast, and you're paying $10,000 or more a year, you're thinking, my God, $1,000. But this is an undeveloped piece of property. There was absolutely nothing on it. There's no electrical power ran up here. I don't have a home on it yet. There's no well. There's just nothing other than that barn that I put in, and a chicken coop for these guys. But for them to, tough guy here getting aggressive with my foot. So, to double it like that in 1 year, there's just no excuse for that. It's just they're digging into people's pockets. So I really hope that people stay on this, and this gets changed. Like I say, primary residency should be off limits, and that's would be my main goal. They can make it up in different ways, sales tax, whatever. So speaking of the chicken, I've only got 2 left that were the free rangers. I did finally see what got I don't know, probably 7 or 8 of my chickens. After that slaughter on that one day where I lost four chickens in one day, I was able to get 6 of them that actually go into the coop at night. I was able to, once they went into the coop that night, I closed the door on the chicken run, and unfortunately they've just been locked up in there. From now on they can't free range out here, and it's a shame because there's a whole lot of land here, and I've been watching what these 2 that are left, what they've been doing, and because it's been so warm here for a lot of the winter, the ground's soft enough that they can kind of scratch in there, and I guess like all the sprouts that would be the weeds popping up in the spring are just down below there, and I'm sure they're nice and tender. And the 2 that I have left, they've been digging around in some of these big dirt areas, and I can see that's what they're eating on, like sprouts that are just waiting down below there for the spring so they could pop up and start growing and everything. So they've definitely been enjoying that. It's like I still throw out the cracked corn every day, but sometimes they take a few bites of it, but then they go back to scratching in the earth. So they're really, I guess they're enjoying whatever it is that they're digging up out of there. But yeah, it was a coyote. I saw him twice. Once I saw him going away. I came out, and I guess I saw that the chickens were acting real weird. There's a spot that I think they've decided that's a safe space to go to. The wood that the firewood I have stacked on one side of the barn, they jump up there and kind of squat down, and I guess that makes them feel safer. And I came out and I saw them up there, and I thought, okay, that coyote must have just been around. And there was only, well, I knew I was short. I forget at that point how many I had left, 4 or 5. I knew there was only the 2 of them there, so I'm like, okay, they don't really separate that much now that they're down. They were down to just a few of them, so I figured something had happened. So I ran to a spot where I can look way down the hill, and I happened to just get there and catch him, disappearing behind some trees. So I got my shotgun anyway, and I went down the hill and figured probably not going to see him again. He'll see me long before I see him. And it was still early, and the sun was, I'm staring into the sun, and didn't see him. And so I've turned around and I start walking back, and now I got the sun on my back, and on a hill over in the next property over, I see him topping the hill and disappeared below it. But so the next morning I came out again. This time I had my shotgun, and I saw him coming from that same direction, and then he kind of turned to the right and went into the trees. He probably saw me, but I got set up in grabbed a chair, got set up off to one side of a cleared spot here, and I was hoping he would, he'd pop up where I was thinking he would, come out across this bare stretch here, and I'd be able to get him. But he never showed up, and that has been probably going on 2 weeks now, and they're still alive, but I'm sure it's just a matter of time. It's funny, well, I was about to say he hadn't messed with the roosters, but I'm wrong on that, because he did that one day where he got like 4 of them in one trip. He did kill one of the roosters. So that's down to 1 hen, 1 rooster. So we'll see. But cut it off here. But yeah, guys, if you're still with me, go down there and look in that description and watch that video. If we're all out there obviously shopping in different states and everything and calling these people out. If they're not correcting their problem, then, well, the only way it's going to get corrected is if enough of us do call them out on it. So, yeah, let's try to stay on top of that and get them to change it, because you don't want to be throwing your money away because you don't have it. You don't have the money to throw away. So none of us do. So let's get on them. All right, you guys have a good day, and we will talk to you later.